Hi guys, welcome back to It's Snack Time with Sophia and Annie. Hey Annie, how are you doing?
Hey, Sophia, I'm so good. How are you?
Doing good. Crazy that this is our first virtual podcast.
I know it's fun to be able to see each other while we're talking.
I know it makes long distance like way better.
I know. I feel like we FaceTime a lot anyways, but now it's fun to be able to like do work and talk and see each other. And it's just so nice.
Totally. I am so excited to chat. I actually was dreading this podcast because I have been I have been so emo and we were like talking about it beforehand, but just so emo, so much negativity. I feel like that's built up in my head. And I know that you were feeling that way like a couple weeks ago. So I
Yeah.
decided to be like fully honest on this episode and talk about all this negativity and stuff like that. And then once I was even talking to you just briefly, it like made me feel way better. So I think this would be good for a lot of people who are also struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like just the career that like you chose and that I'm going to choose, like graduating in May, it's just, it can get a little bit lonely and we're working really hard. And especially with me doing classes and working at the same time, it can just get really hard. There's not a lot of people that relate. And then when outside things happen in your life, like it's just hard to balance everything. So it's really understandable. And that's definitely what I was going through before too. So I can relate. And I'm luckily having a good week this week, but I know what it's like and last week was pretty rough. So,
And what you said is like literally so on point. When we're struggling, but we're both entrepreneurs, like that is really, really difficult because the grind like doesn't stop and the stress is always there. I feel like it's a little bit different when you're working for someone else because this is like our livelihood. Like,
yeah.
like no pressure, but like our careers literally depend on like the success of Snack with Market. And when I'm feeling really low, which I'm sure that you feel the exact same way, it's like really draining, but we can't really take a break because, there's no one else that can pick up our work.
Right. And especially because we do have this aspect of our business too, like being open is super important, but it's just so much easier to try and present yourself as if nothing's ever wrong. And it's nice to have this outlet, but it like is really, it takes a lot of courage to like come on here and say, you know what, I'm having a really hard time, but it ends up being helpful in the end. I know like I would rather, if I were watching this or listening, like I would rather have more transparency and vulnerability. And I think that it makes what we do like that much more interesting. But yeah, it is, yeah, it's just it's a journey for sure. And like we depend on each other a lot, which is nice, but like it's a lot of pressure on ourselves. So it can be a lot sometimes, but definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. And I'm glad that we're openly talking about this. So let's just get to it, shall we? Shall we talk about
Yeah.
how shitty my life has been in the last 2 weeks?
Oh my gosh.
Um, no, but I actually do want to talk about it because I'm struggling and I know friends of mine that are also feeling this way and it can feel like we're so alone, but like turns out there's so many people going through it. And like my pain point has been like bloating and not just some puffiness that could last like a day or two. It's been so much puffiness that it's uncomfortable. And there's no doctor that seems to like help me, which is even more aggravating. And it's also really difficult when you have an eating disorder because the bloating then starts taking over your positive voice in your head. And it just makes it really hard to keep working and to keep being motivated to keep taking care of yourself when you're constantly feeling like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so hard. And I've been struggling and I'm decided that I'm not going to put up a face on this podcast and like actually talk about it.
Yeah. I think that like even though I don't relate on like that exact level, I think that like when you're feeling something inside, like the way that you're treating yourself really projects out and like leads to how other people treat you. And it's really hard when, you're struggling inside. And if you can't be nice to yourself or you're having a hard time, like being there for yourself, it's really hard to expect that from other people, which can be good and bad because, when you are feeling good and treating yourself well, like it's a lot easier to like put that out into the world. But yeah, it can be really hard, especially when you don't really have an answer and you're just kind of struggling to find like what's wrong or how to fix it. And it's just hard when it's not a quick fix.
Yeah. And I did talk about this in my therapy session. And I do have tips. So, like, I do wanted to share. I was literally, as my therapist was talking to me, I was taking notes and then I like saved it. And I wanted to share just some tips that if you are struggling with bloating or if it's getting like to a point where it's taking over your mental capacity and that's all that you're thinking about, here are some things to do. And that is to eat good food. So, keep nourishing your body, be grateful in your body and not shaming it. I feel like I do a really poor job of like fighting back the negative thoughts that come into my head. And I keep taking it versus like being like, fuck you. No, like that's not actually like the reality. And then self care. I've been upping my self care, moving my body in whatever that feels good. And then just doing some things that I love, like taking a bath, like doing my nails, just adding extra self care. And remember that to obviously like no self checking, no weight, no like weighing yourself, and then not like restricting. So those are just like Sophia's bloating tips featuring
Yeah.
my therapist that like I do want to share because they're helpful to me, you know, and then even like the basic things like I forget sometimes.
Yeah, totally. That's like the hardest part for me is I straight go to like all of these complex things that could help me out. I'm like, okay, so now I need to do my 17-step skincare routine to make myself feel better, which is just not true. Like, for example, like when I went through my breakup last semester, like 6 months ago now, which like the time has flown, but I literally like taking a shower was my win of the week. Like I couldn't even like get myself to take a shower, and like maybe we go into like depth about that in another episode, but like just a small thing, like make sure you're eating lunch, take a bath, like make sure you're drinking enough water. Just super like mundane, simple things can be super hard when you're struggling, and especially when it comes to body image, like your mind to gut connection has way more power than you think. And even last night, so I know I've mentioned before that I'm lactose intolerant, and like it's not to the point where I like can't function if I eat dairy or I'm throwing up or anything, but it is so uncomfortable. But last night I went to get ice cream with my friends and I wanted ice cream so badly. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get like regular ice cream and I'm going to eat the whole thing because I'm going to enjoy it. And I was bloated after, but I wasn't in as much pain as usual. And going into it, like being excited to have it and like just knowing I'm doing it out of like love for myself and love for my life rather than like torturing myself for having it makes such a big difference. And I just know, like thinking back to my past, like having just a negative reaction. I'm like, I couldn't eat ice cream unless it was dairy free, but it wasn't because I was afraid of a stomach ache. It was because I was afraid of like repercussions and bloating and things like that. So that mind to gut connection is like so important. And so those tips about making sure you're not restricting and don't body check and things like that are actually a lot more important than you think.
And what's even more crazy is like I've been stressing about my bloat, but in reality, that actually makes the bloat worse.
Yeah. Which is so frustrating, but it's true.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, pivoting because
Pivoting.
I feel like I want to ask you how things are going with you because you just started school again. Like, how is that going?
It's good. It's crazy. I have a pretty busy schedule this semester and my classes aren't like last semester I had a lot of things due during the week, and this semester it's a lot heavier on content and less exams and stuff like that. So it's kind of scary because I haven't had anything like due yet, but I know I have things soon and it's just like a compilation of the past 3 weeks. So things are going well, but definitely less in class, like in person class because of COVID and everything. But I've been keeping myself really busy. It was 6 degrees this morning, which is just alarming. It
Can't
was
do that.
freezing, like so cold. I got up and I went to the gym and I was like, I walked downstairs to my roommate's car. I like took my roommate's car to the gym this morning and I walked just downstairs and I had to sit in the car. I was frozen. And I wear a jacket. I wish I could like show you guys. I wear a jacket like down to the floor. Like I have like a big long coat that I wear.
I don't know how you do it. I feel like you're so motivated, like to go get your ass up. And I feel like I've been so not that, which is so unlike
Yeah.
me. Can you talk about like for people that are just so not lazy, but just like not motivated to like get their day going? Because you work out in the mornings, right?
Yeah. So in high school, so kind of going like a couple things. First of all, I'm an alarm snoozer. I set my alarm and I snooze it like 2 or 3 times. So I'm really working on that because that actually makes you more tired when you get up. So I'm trying not to do that, but I love staying in bed. So that's just one thing. It's not like I wake up and I'm like, let's take on the day, like let's do this. I in high school woke up really early. I woke up at like 4:58 a.m. for swim practice, and it's not because I wanted to, it was because I had to. So I'm good at waking up early just because I did it so much in high school. But I like waking up early now just because I love coming home after class and sitting on the couch and doing nothing and watching TV with my roommates. And that's not something that was in my routine for a long time, but it's something that makes me really happy now. So I'd rather start my day earlier and get to do things like that and still go to bed and get sleep than not. Also, I will say this morning was one of the first times I woke up happy in like 6 months, which I know sounds kind of like scary and daunting and sad, but it was more just, I was really excited about it. I actually just made a TikTok about it because I was so excited about waking up happy for the first time in so long. But that getting up early and going to the gym turns my whole day around rather than just getting up and having kind of a dark cloud over my head and not doing anything about it. I like get up and I drink my water and I get ready to go to the gym. And by the time I've exercised and kind of done something without thinking, my like mood changes without me really noticing. So it just makes me feel like a lot more comfortable going into the day and like I got something done. And so if nothing else happens during the day or I'm not as productive as I wanted to be, whatever that means to you, it makes me just feel like a lot better and a lot more comfortable, I guess is a good word.
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I
Thanks.
know that feeling, but I feel like I'm the complete opposite where I
Yeah.
just it feels so just like sad. And I know that I have a lot to be grateful for, and making gratitude lists and journaling and meditating has been really helping me. But I feel like I also want to normalize like the feeling of what I'm feeling, which is just sad. And I
Yeah.
haven't felt happy in like a couple weeks now because of all my like problems with like
Mhm.
my digestion and all this other stuff. So I'm happy for you, but at the same time, I'm like so jealous because it's like it's
Yeah.
been so long since I felt that way, you know?
Well, I will say that I mean, healing isn't linear. So, like, just because I woke up this morning and we just happened to be recording this today on the morning that I woke up, like, in a good mood. But I will say the second I started, like, I was doing everything. I was journaling every day. I was meditating. I was stretching. I was doing like everything that people say to do. And the second I started, or I guess I stopped doing all those things and trying to force myself to feel a certain way and just like decided to live and just like sit with those feelings, I started feeling a lot better. And I really just ended up boiling it down to getting up, not being on my phone for the first 20 to 30 minutes after I wake up and drinking a glass of water. And that just like, I am drinking water and I'm not being on my phone. Like, those are already two huge wins for the day. And it already gets your day started on the right foot. And just taking all of that pressure off and not trying to fix myself. Like, when you just realize that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, like in the grand scheme of things, like there is absolutely nothing wrong with you and there's nothing that you need to fix, you become a lot more content because it's not like you're missing anything, like nothing or like anyone that's meant for you will ever pass you by. Like you just need to be like in the moment and maybe you just need to like focus on like being sad for a week and not try to fix it and just kind of see where that takes you, you know? Because life, like I truly believe life happens for you and not to you. And obviously, like there are so many things that you can be doing to fix things. And there's so many things that are frustrating that you do want to fix, but like you're not a victim of your own life. And I just think like once I realized that like there's nothing for me to fix and that it's okay for me to not have any idea what to do, it just becomes so much more comforting and you don't need to like be putting all this pressure on yourself to change. And I know that kind of just went all over the place, but I really think that like doing nothing actually does a lot more than we think.
Agreed. I think I need to like just not do anything and just like
Mhm.
cope with my emotions and really feel them out. It's just really difficult when I'm running a full ass company and like I said earlier, it is so hard to like not do anything and like there's I could take sick days because I guess I'm my own boss, but there's added guilt. Like there's just so much that I'm struggling with, even if I do like take time for myself because we have goals like for this month that, I need to make and I have to do this in order to do that. Like there's a lot of things that's riding on my shoulders. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have it any other way though, because I like what I do. It's just really tough when you're going through it mentally. And I just wanted just to take light on that. But I do want to say I have some tips, just like what you were saying earlier, like how it's helped me to relieve a little bit of my anxiety. And one new thing that I've been doing is charging my phone in a different room
Yeah.
because when my mental health has been so bad, I've just been so emo, like in my feels, and I would wake up, roll over, and check my emails the minute I wake up. Like, how fucking anxiety provoking is that? Like, holy shit. Like, why was I doing that? Because I'm stressed about work and I just want to like keep on hustling. But then what did it actually do? It just made me so fucking anxious and depressed and just worried and
Yeah.
like didn't feel the least bit happy. So I've been charging my phone in a different room. And I've also been like on a meditation kick recently. And I kind of promised my therapist that I would do this like at least Monday through Friday, where I would meditate just a couple minutes in the day. And I kind of have this promise to myself. And the weird thing is that it's like oddly addicting. Like once you start doing it and you create like, I think it's like after like 5 days or something, like on
Yeah.
Monday, I genuinely craved it.
Yeah.
So weird.
I know meditation is super helpful. And I think that looking at it in a way that like multiple things can be meditative, like my morning routine is very meditative to me because I'm literally just looking myself in the mirror and brushing my teeth and like spending 5 to 10 minutes with myself. Like that's very meditative to me because it like has me enjoying my own company, which is something I couldn't do 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So like things can be very meditative. I know a lot of people think walking is super meditative or listening to music or going for a run. Like there's so many different ways. And I love that. Like I think meditation is really beautiful and it doesn't have to be in like the traditional, like sit down for 30 minutes type of way.
Yeah, I agree. I have been though using the Mimi Method app, which is now Superhuman. It's I highly recommend if you are wanting to try meditating to just try that app because it is so freaking amazing. And I'll link it in the show notes. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. It has literally like changed the way that I do meditation. Like they have one for walking, they have one for when you're shopping for groceries or getting ready in the morning. I love adapting to my lifestyle and just elevating it. And I think like
Yeah.
that's what it does.
Yeah. She has such an amazing, like, she put such an amazing twist on meditation. Like, I remember you sent me a podcast that she was on and she talked about how she was going to make one for cooking. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, cooking is really meditative for people. So, like, they could just put it on their like Alexa or something. And it's just so crazy. Like, I love that. And I love when people take something super popular or something that's been done a lot and put a twist on it and make it that much more special. And she does that really well.
Agreed. Agreed. So if you're like in a rut or just feeling the feels, my advice is to just feel them out and honestly like take a break because my parents are going out of town this weekend and I'm so excited to have the house all to myself and I am just going to cry if I want to cry, like FaceTime my friends, really just get myself. I feel like I'm just overthinking the blow and that's just making it worse and
Mhm.
that's causing so much havoc on like my mental sanity that I'm just going to do everything in my power to like talk to other people, ask other people how they're doing and just be present,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. I think like the thing that helped me the most, and I guess like just referring to my breakup last year is the best reason, just because like that's the hardest thing I've been through in a while. And when I was going through that, calling other people and asking how they were doing and helping other people was the most helpful thing for me in the world. I've never felt so much just like grace and like, and all you want when you're feeling low is to feel like wanted and helpful to others. And I've realized that that's kind of what I feel like I'm missing when I'm having a hard time is I just, if I don't feel like I have like, this sounds intense, but I feel like I don't have like a purpose, but not like a purpose in life. I mean, just like a purpose to get out of bed, you know, and being able to help other people and just like live more presently makes me feel like I have more of a purpose and that all of this is like happening for a reason.
It's so hard to like find your purpose or just
Mhm.
even feel it when you're so low. And I
Yeah.
think that's literally what's been like for me because we launched the marketplace, like been working so hard on the website and all of that. And then once that launched, like it's almost as if like my purpose just went like it kind of climaxed and then it just went all the way downhill. Cause
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well now I'm doing all the stuff that I hate to do, even though you would think that like after I launched, I'd be like, ooh, like this feels so good. Like I feel like a sense of relief. And it's
Yeah.
just been so the opposite. And I think I'm just so tired of
Mhm.
it all that the purpose is just so not there. But
Yeah.
then obviously like these types of conversations and like the ability to do this as work is like so fun. And like even just openly talking about these mental struggles is literally why I created Snack With in the first place. Like it's
Yeah.
not really about the snacks, it's about like fostering a safe place to have these conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I I never felt like I needed a therapist. Like I've had a health coach before who I think I mentioned on one of our episodes, but Real with Emma on Instagram. I did like her health coaching program. And every time we'd have one on one meetings, she's like, every time you talk about your problems, you figure them out. Like you say it out loud, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should do this. And you like solve everything yourself. So when I was really struggling last year, and last semester is what I mean by last year, but last semester I like didn't want a therapist because I was like everyone tells me like I talk out loud and I solve everything myself. Like what would a therapist be helpful for? And I still, like kind of battle with that a little bit, but I did start going to therapy every other week and it's only for 30 minutes. I'm like being kind of stubborn about it. I'm not going to lie. Like I feel like a lot of people are like I love it. Like I love going for an hour. And like it's not that I don't love her. I love my therapist, but I'm like, I'm still a little stubborn. Like, I like to have 30 minutes with her and kind of think about her advice and then, like, kind of talk to myself or write things down for like 30 minutes. So I have been going, and I think that therapy is super helpful, especially as someone that that's always told by people that they have themselves together. Like, it's just helpful to like talk to someone that's not saying that, like even if I do feel like I'm having a great day and I have it all together, just someone being like, well, what isn't together? Like, what can we talk about? Or what do you feel like is working really well that like you've maybe changed recently? It's just helpful to like have someone to talk to and have someone like learn all the characters in your story. Cause like as you're telling stories, and I notice this all the time, like I kind of figure things out for myself, like as I'm explaining it to her. And it's just really helpful to have someone that like has to listen to you.
I love therapy, but I absolutely like hate going. Like once,
Really?
yeah, like once I'm in the therapy session, I'm like, okay, so glad like I didn't cancel
Yeah.
on you today. But I think it's almost the fact that I'm like, now is the time to like process all my emotions and talk freely. I'm like, I don't want to because I don't want to cry and I don't want to get sad.
Yeah.
And therapy has literally changed my life. And I'm so glad that we're talking about it because I think if I didn't have therapy, then I would have like not been okay in my eating disorder. Like
Mhm.
I would have never had like a bright light ever.
Yeah.
And I think so many people are so scared about therapy when in reality, you're literally paying someone to listen to your problems. Like they don't care
Yeah.
about you otherwise within that, just like within that 1 hour therapy session is when someone just cares. So it's almost so like relieving to like tell someone exactly what's going on without a filter and then they can just listen. And it
Mhm.
honestly, like, I hate going into it because I hate feeling like emotion and all of that stuff. But once you're done, you feel like a weight has lifted off your shoulders. It feels
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, no, I totally, and I love getting ready for therapy. Like I'll either walk, not when it's 6 degrees outside, but sometimes I'll walk outside and talk to her, or sometimes I'll lay on my bed and like put my legs up the wall. But I'm more like when I'm in the session, like I say something and then I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, oh God, she's gonna say something that's like gonna make me cry. Because I saw this TikTok today. It was actually so funny. Someone was like, how much of a queen does my therapist have to be to listen to me say a whole story? And she asked me one question that makes me burst into tears. Like, how does she know like the one question? And I can just sense when it's coming. And like that's when I'm like, oh, I want to hang up on you. Like, I don't want to do this. But going into it, I'm usually like pretty excited. So it's funny. It's definitely uncomfortable, but like I've never once gotten better from being comfortable. Like not once.
Yeah, exactly. And I remind myself, like, even that, just I'm struggling right now and I'm feeling my feelings. I'm super emo, but like we're gonna learn from this and grow. Like as fucking annoying as being uncomfortable is for me right now, I know that it'll pass and that we're just gonna learn from this and then I'll be comfortable again and then it's gonna be uncomfortable and
Yeah.
that's just like how it continues.
Yeah. And I try to remind myself that, like, I know a few months ago I was really struggling, but like every time I have a super uncomfortable feeling, especially if I have it for a few days, I'm like, oh, I never want to feel this again. Like, I hate remembering how this feels. I can't remember how I was feeling exactly like a month ago. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
it's just comforting to know that, like, it's not like this is going to be carried with me forever. Like, working through it in the moment now is going to help me, like, move past it and leave it in the past where it belongs.
Couldn't have said it better myself, sis. um, I do want to talk about like our marketplace
Yes.
because there is a huge sale that literally ends by this Sunday. And it is our Valentine's Day sale. So I thought it would be like the cutest thing ever to put some Valentine's Day themed snacks just for sale, just 20% off. If you're a member, then that's an additional 20% off your already discounted price.
That's a
And
really
I
good deal.
right. And like how cute would it be to like have a girls' night in with all of your favorite snacks?
So fun. I wish we could do it. We should do it virtually.
Oh my God, can we please? That would be such a
Yeah,
fun podcast episode,
we
just
should.
snacking on different snacks.
I know, like chomping in the microphone. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I feel like people would love to listen to that.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But the marketplace has been super exciting. I hope people are like checking it out and I'm just excited to like keep growing and evolving it because we have so much in store. It's nuts.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Like every time we talk about it, I'm like doing my daily work. I'm like, oh, I love my job. This is great. And then every time we talk about, like, we just cross like 4 or 5 things off our to-do list.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
How has the taste testing been going?
It's good. I tried a new format making a TikTok. We'll see. I like need to work on my transitions, you guys. Like, if you have any TikTok tips, like, please let me know.
I cannot wait to see that TikTok. But I do want to talk about, so just in case this is anyone's like first episode listening to this, is Annie is I like to call her our chief of snacks because it's just such a fitting title.
Yeah,
And
it
basically
works.
like Annie is like the communication between the brands that get put into our snack boxes and our marketplace. So she picks them out, she tastes all of them. If it's not her, then it's me, but it's usually her that tastes everything. And the beauty of it is that Annie lives with so many people, so it's not just her tasting them. Um, it's with others. Do you want to add anything to that while I talk about your whole
Well,
job description?
I was gonna say, like, yeah, I've had like I have some things on our Instagram and then also on my Instagram, which is Happy Tidbits on Instagram. And like I have videos of me taste testing snacks with my friends. I have roommates this year, 2 of them are boys, that like eating chicken nuggets every day and stuff like that. Not chicken nuggets, they would like kill me if they heard me say that. They can probably hear me. But like, you know what I mean? Like just like, boy food, and they love the snacks too, most of them. So they're picky. So I have them try it, and then my other roommate Allie and I bring them to my business fraternity meetings, and you guys, I will bring snacks there for people to taste test, and they're gone. Like the meeting hasn't even started and everyone's wrappers are in the trash. I'm like, when did this even happen? Like everyone loves them. So, and Sophia did a presentation for my business fraternity. So now everyone's like, more snacks. Oh my gosh, like has Sophia tried these? It's so funny. So it's really fun. And yeah, the snacks are all delicious. Moral of the story, a lot of people try them. And so like if you're a picky eater, even like I'm sure you would love them.
Yeah, and that is like the beauty of Snack With is that we literally taste everything, which is amazing. I think the best part is having boys try them because I remember I purposely had like my boyfriend and all of his friends try every snack just because boys are
Yeah.
like the pickiest and they don't
No, they really
understand.
are.
Yeah, and they don't understand healthy snacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, if you are scared to healthy snack, I created it's on our blog. If you just press community on our website, there's a healthy snack starter pack. So I literally compiled all of the snacks on the marketplace that are like mini size on purpose. So they're like really cheap. If you're a member, they're like, I don't know, like as low as like 40 cents, which is crazy. So if you're
Yeah.
just interested
Wow.
in like healthy snacking, but don't want to like splurge on like a huge bag of chips or whatever, check that out. Highly, highly recommend. I linked so many amazing yumminess. That's super mini sized on purpose.
Yeah, that's great.
Um, I think that's our show.
I think so too. I think that we should expand on therapy sessions and how like we found our therapists and stuff in another episode because that's like a whole new topic.
Yes, 1,000%. So many people ask, how do I find a therapist and all that stuff? We should literally just dedicate a whole like mini episode for that.
Yeah, because it's a struggle, but it's worth it.
It is. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you leave a review on iTunes podcast for It's Snack Time, and we pick a winner every single week. If you leave a review, we will pick at random, and you will get a free box of snacks. So
Yes,
don't
make sure to
forget
do
to
that.
review, please, please, please. It really helps us grow. And with that, happy snacking.
Happy snacking. Bye, guys. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.